We're going to continue talking about this story, though, this Hillary's anti-Trump scheme exposed, because the impact of it, the consequence of it, the relevance of it in assessing pretty much everything we've been treated to watch out of the Comey FBI, out of the Mueller investigation, out of what we're still watching today, all is changed. It's all changed now. It's all different now. Now that we know not only that Hillary approved the plan to cook up this Trump-Russia collusion farce, which actually you can say, well, that's not that big news because, you know, Hillary hired Perkins Coie and they hired this Fusion GPS and they in turn got a hold of this Christopher Steele guy who cooked up the dossier. I mean, Hillary was always in the middle of it and in the middle of concocting the farce, the lie that the Trump team was somehow colluding with the Russians. She was in the middle of it. But the bombshell news is that the FBI, the CIA, was aware of it. John Brennan wrote notes about it. These notes have been sitting in the possession of who knows how many people, the FBI and the DOJ. Brennan's notes saying, yeah, we're figuring out the Russians are saying that Hillary has approved a plan to go after Trump and to cook up a lie about Trump-Russia collusion. How many people have known about this inside the CIA and the FBI? And we're just hearing about it now? The American people just hearing about it now? It's like this insider's joke. All these people inside the FBI and the DOJ trying to act solemn and serious, and we're investigating very serious allegations of Trump-Russia collusion. And they're knowing all along, Hillary cooked it up, John Brennan knew all along, Comey knew all along, Peter Strzok knew all along. All these people played along as though there was some big serious crisis ongoing in this Trump-Russia collusion thing, and the only crisis was that they were hiding it, the fact that they knew that Hillary cooked it all up from the start. And it goes back to Obama and Biden. This is, after all, occurring under the Obama-Biden administration, their officials running the CIA, the FBI, the DOJ, heck, you know, the NSA, the Department of State, their people running all of this. And now for the first time this has come to light. This came to light, by the way, because the investigation by John Durham, the ongoing investigation into whether or not, into the beginning, how do we get started with this Trump-Russia collusion farce, hoax, how the Russian collusion hoax gets started is John Durham's assignment inside as he's investigating. And he came up with these notes. Durham came up with Brennan's notes. Brennan's handwriting acknowledging all along he knew that Hillary cooked up this plot and Hillary was using it as a campaign tool. But now the big news is the American people know it. And my friends, you have to force yourself to think back of all of the lies that the left has told. All of the lies, leaders of the FBI, DOJ, heck, NSA, CIA, pretending that we're investigating very, very serious allegations when they knew all along it was a Hillary plot, a Hillary scheme, a Hillary trying to distract the American public's attention from her genuine lawlessness and using an unprotected server for all the reasons we talked about 100 times on this show. But she cooks this up to distract attention, and the dutiful, compliant media humors her, humors the farce, humors the story, as does Comey, Strzok, and a whole bunch of other people at the highest levels in Washington, D.C. And now we're finding out we're in the last day of September, as we're coming up on the election of 2020. We have the election coming up, in less than 2 months in America. And we're just finding out now, September 30th, and maybe it came out maybe 2 days ago, 28th, 29th, that all of this was known to these people all this time. That Hillary cooked this garbage up. That Hillary concocted all of it. And that it was put into play by them. Now, one other point I want to make before I'm going to turn to, this is just impossibly important news. And it's also important to understand when you're President Trump, we're going to get to the debate, because there's a lot to say about the debate. But this what we are now becoming aware, these are the kinds of things that Trump team inside the White House, his top advisors, they're aware of thousands of little things that we don't know, thousands of little bits of data and information. that they knew all along, President Trump and his team knew, there had been no collusion by the Trump team with Putin or the Russians, that the entire thing was a farce. The entire first 3.5+ years of his presidency had to be encumbered by headline after headline, making allusions, accusations, it kind of, somehow suggesting, well, maybe because Mueller didn't get to the bottom of it, but doesn't mean it's not true. Trump really is a bad guy. Trump spent a monumental victory in 2016 and yet had to spend the first 3 years of his presidency dealing with a farce cooked up by Hillary Clinton. And where is the clamoring to, as they said during the Trump campaign, to lock her up? Where is the demand that whether, and in fact, Lindsey Graham's one comment that was reported repeatedly in response to all this was, well, my question is, did Comey and Strzok investigate? Okay, that's one question. It's a good question. They should find out if Comey and Strzok just ignored this intelligence coming from their own agencies. I don't know if they even did a pretend investigation, but that was what Lindsey Graham said he wanted to know. That's just one question. Who all knew that Hillary approved this plot? And when did they know it? And who tacitly covered it up? And who made sure that that tracks were covered so no one was aware of it? And who participated in it? And who failed to speak up? How many FBI agents involved in the whole Mueller investigation were actually aware that Hillary had cooked this up from the start? People, this is monumental. It's monumental. And another quick point I want to hit on this before I want to talk about Lieutenant General Flynn in a moment, and then we're going to get to the debate last night. But one other really important point, and we're going to be talking about this as the story unfolds more, but it's possible to hear this news that Brennan, as I say, then CIA Director Brennan, his own notes acknowledges that he took this intelligence, this Russian intelligence that reported they become aware that Hillary Clinton had approved a plan to cook up a lie about Trump and Russia collusion. It all came from Hillary, and the CIA knew about it from July of 2016. But in Brennan's own handwriting, he says, we went ahead, we briefed President Obama and other national security officials on the intelligence, including the alleged approval by Hillary Clinton on July 26th of 2016 of a proposal from someone on her staff to vilify Trump by stirring up a scandal claiming interference by Russian security services. But you can read that and think, oh, okay, then I guess this means that John Brennan is in the clear, because Brennan was often pointed to as the one likely to really be the one who cooked up the whole Trump-Russia collusion, that he may have cooked up a lot of what happened in trying to, the whole Papadopoulos, angle of it all. He may have cooked that up. He may have cooked up other, aspects of this. He was kind of behind the scenes pulling the strings in a whole bunch of ways. But the fact that Brennan got this intelligence, the fact that he reported it to President Obama, the fact that his note in his own handwriting note says he told Obama about it in July of 2016, that he referred it to FBI Director James Comey and Deputy Assistant Director of Counterintelligence Peter Strzok in September of that year, this does not mean that Brennan was innocent, that Brennan had clean hands. It doesn't mean that he was doing a great job over there at the CIA, and one day the startling intelligence came in and he jumped right on it and to get a hold of it, to get it moving and to get, report to the proper people, to report it to Obama and his team and Biden, and to report it to Comey and Strzok. It doesn't at all mean that Brennan is innocent. It may mean that Brennan was doing exactly what everyone thinks he was doing, and there's a lot of evidence of that. The perception that Brennan was orchestrating the whole collusion thing behind the scenes, and all that's really new from this news is that Brennan gets this report saying the Russians have figured it out. The Russians' intelligence is now saying, hey, we think Hillary Clinton is cooking up this story as a campaign tactic to destroy her opponent, Donald Trump. So now it's on Brennan's desk. He's got the CIA. He's the head of the CIA. He's got this intelligence coming from Russia. Even if he's been part of it all, if he's been helping Hillary, this does not mean he can sit there once this intelligence comes to his attention and just toss it in the circular file. He's got to act at that point. It's come to his attention. He's been told he has to act. And so he goes forward, pretending, oh yes, I'm so shocked and alarmed to hear this, who knew? And reports all of this to Obama, Biden, Comey, Strzok, other national security figures. The fact that this has now come to light in Brennan's own handwriting, acknowledging Hillary was behind it, what it does not mean is that Brennan has clean hands. What it does mean is that literally dozens and hundreds of speeches, statements, and tweets by a whole host of people, but most importantly Hillary Clinton, were premised on a lie, and they knew they were lying when they said it. Hillary knows what she did. Hillary knew what she cooked up. Hillary knew what she engaged Perkins Coie and Fusion GPS to do. Hillary knew all of it. But what this is now saying is, as of July of 2016, the highest levels of government in our country, of national security agencies, knew about it too. And we, the American public, are finding out at the end of September, less than 2 months away from the next election. This is bombshell stuff, except if you are in the world of left-wing media, in which case anything that could possibly help Trump or anything that could possibly hurt Biden doesn't count as news, which is why you won't hear very much of this story out of the mainstream media. The story is huge. Please follow it. You can go to our website, americacanwetalk.org, on the homepage, under shows, drop-down list of links. Read the links I have included there. You can find much more online, but read about this and understand what it means about the profound duplicity and dishonesty at the highest levels of the Democrat Party, including Hillary Clinton, fully aware of what it was she was doing in 2016, allowing the farce of this investigation to be ongoing, all the time knowing she cooked up the story.